There comes a point in life when staying the same starts to feel heavier than changing. You look at your daily routine and notice how predictable everything has become. You wake up, repeat the same habits, face the same struggles, and end the day wondering why nothing feels different. Have you ever asked yourself why your life still looks the same, even after so much time has passed? This audiobook is about breaking that pattern with full honesty. It is about forcing change through action, not waiting for motivation or perfect timing. You will hear what it really takes to step away from habits that keep you stuck and replace them with decisions that actually move your life forward. Every chapter will challenge the way you think about comfort, discipline, and personal responsibility, not in theory but in daily life choices that shape your future. If you continue listening, you will understand why small actions matter more than big plans, and why your next decision is more important than your past. The question is simple. Are you ready to stop repeating your old life and start building a version of yourself that even you do not recognize yet? Chapter 1. Leave behind everything stealing your true potential. Every person reaches a moment when the truth becomes impossible to ignore. The life you want cannot grow while you keep protecting the habits that quietly take your time, your energy, and your attention. Real change begins when you stop asking why life is not moving forward and start asking what you continue to allow that keeps holding you in the same place. Your potential has never disappeared. It has been covered by daily choices that seem small enough to ignore. A few extra hours spent doing things that give nothing back. Conversations that leave you feeling smaller instead of stronger. Excuses repeated so many times they begin to sound like facts. Days filled with activity but empty of real progress. None of these things look dangerous when viewed one at a time. Yet together they slowly build a life that feels ordinary even though you were capable of much more. The person you become over the next few years depends less on talent and more on what you decide to leave behind. Growth is not only about adding better habits. Growth is also about removing everything that steals your attention from what matters most. Every day asks the same question. What deserves your time today, and what no longer deserves a place in your life? Many people wait for a perfect moment before changing. They hope that one morning they will wake up with endless motivation. That day rarely comes. Lasting change usually begins on an ordinary day when you become tired of repeating the same mistakes. It begins when you decide that enough is enough. That decision has more power than any burst of excitement because it is built on honesty. Look closely at your daily routine. Notice what happens from the moment you wake up. Notice what fills your thoughts before the day has even started. Notice how quickly your attention is pulled away from your goals. Hours disappear without producing anything meaningful. At the end of the day, you may feel busy, but deep inside, you know that being busy and making progress are not the same thing. Your future is shaped by repeated actions. If those actions stay the same, your future will stay the same as well. That truth may feel uncomfortable, but it is also encouraging because it means your future is still in your hands. Every better choice becomes a vote for the person you want to become. Every poor choice becomes another reason to remain where you are. Sometimes the hardest part of growth is accepting that certain things have to end. Some habits have to end. Some routines have to end. Some ways of thinking have to end. Even some relationships may need stronger boundaries if they constantly pull you away from your values. Protecting your future sometimes requires making decisions that feel difficult today, but create freedom tomorrow. There are people who will not understand your decision to change. They became comfortable with the version of you that asked for very little from life. They expect you to remain available for every distraction. They expect you to keep settling because that makes everyone around you feel comfortable. Their expectations cannot become the limits of your future. Your responsibility is not to keep everyone comfortable. Your responsibility is to become the strongest version of yourself. When you improve your thinking, your habits, and your discipline, You also improve what you can give to your family, your work, and your community. Personal growth is never a selfish goal when it helps you become more dependable, more honest, and more capable. Think about the promises you have made to yourself over the years. How many were forgotten after only a few days? Not because you lacked ability, but because you allowed comfort to become stronger than commitment. Every broken promise weakens self-confidence. Every kept promise builds it. Confidence grows when you prove through action that your word has value even when nobody is watching. There is no need to change your entire life before the day ends. What matters is making one decision that points you in a better direction. Turn off what constantly distracts you. Read a few pages that challenge your thinking. Finish the task you have been avoiding. Get enough rest so tomorrow begins with energy instead of regret. Small decisions repeated with consistency create remarkable change over time. Stop measuring yourself against other people. Measure yourself against the person you were yesterday. Ask whether you are becoming more disciplined, more patient, more focused, and more dependable. That comparison tells the truth, because it is based on your own progress instead of someone else's appearance. Your environment also deserves attention. The place where you spend your time affects your mindset more than you may realize. A space filled with disorder often creates a distracted mind. A planned environment supports planned actions. Organize what you can. Remove what constantly interrupts your focus. Make it easier to succeed than to drift through another day without purpose. The words you repeat inside your mind matter. If you keep saying that you are always behind, always unlucky, or always incapable, your actions will eventually follow those beliefs. Replace those thoughts with honest statements that encourage responsibility. Tell yourself that improvement is possible through consistent effort. Tell yourself that today's decisions matter. Tell yourself that discipline can be learned because it is practiced, not inherited. There will be days when progress feels slow. Those days test your commitment more than your ability. Continue anyway. The person who keeps moving during ordinary days builds a strength that cannot be created by excitement alone. Real transformation belongs to people who continue after motivation becomes quiet. Your potential deserves more than occasional effort. It deserves daily attention. It deserves choices that match the future you say you want. Every hour is an opportunity to remove one more thing that steals your focus and replace it with something that builds your character. 1 year from now, you will meet the results of the decisions you make today. That future version of yourself will either be grateful that you finally stopped accepting distractions or disappointed that another year disappeared without meaningful change. The decision begins now. Leave behind what weakens you. Protect what strengthens you. Keep choosing the actions that move your life forward until the person looking back from the mirror carries a confidence earned through discipline, patience, and consistent action. That is how real change begins. That is how your true potential finally has room to grow. Chapter 2. Decide today that average is no longer enough. There comes a point when you have to make a decision that changes the direction of your life. Nobody else can make it for you. Your family cannot make it. Your friends cannot make it. Your circumstances cannot make it. The decision belongs to you. The question is simple. Is average good enough for the life you truly want? Many people never answer that question honestly. They continue doing what feels familiar because familiar feels safe. Years pass without noticeable progress. They become comfortable with routines that ask very little from them. They stop expecting more from themselves. Then one day they wonder why nothing has changed. Life rarely becomes extraordinary by accident. Better results come from better standards. Before your income grows, your standards must grow. Before your confidence grows, your standards must grow. Before people begin to trust you more, you must become someone who expects more from yourself every single day. The greatest change begins quietly. It does not begin with applause. It does not begin with recognition. It begins with a private decision. You decide that your current level is no longer acceptable. You stop settling for unfinished work. You stop making promises that disappear after a few days. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. That decision becomes the starting point of a completely different future. Think about the way you approach ordinary tasks. Do you finish them with care, or do you rush through them? Do you keep your word when nobody checks on you? Do you continue learning after everyone else has stopped? These simple moments reveal your standards far more than the goals you write on paper. People often believe success depends on rare opportunities. In reality, many opportunities are missed because people are unprepared when they arrive. Preparation is built during ordinary days. It grows while you practice skills that nobody notices. It grows while you choose responsibility instead of convenience. When opportunity finally appears, you are ready because you have already done the work. Average thinking often sounds reasonable. It says one missed workout does not matter, 1 hour wasted does not matter, one unfinished project does not matter, one broken promise does not matter. Each choice seems small by itself. Over time, those choices create a pattern. Patterns become habits. Habits shape character. Character influences every area of life. Raise your expectations without waiting for someone else's approval. Stop asking whether other people think your goals are too ambitious. Their opinion does not determine your future. Your actions do. Every meaningful achievement begins with someone believing they were capable of becoming more than they were yesterday. Take responsibility for the quality of your effort. There will always be things outside your control. Weather changes. Markets change. Other people make unexpected decisions. None of those things control the effort you choose to give today. Effort remains your responsibility. Discipline remains your responsibility. Learning remains your responsibility. Many people spend more time explaining why they cannot improve than actually improving. They become experts at finding reasons instead of finding solutions. Every excuse provides temporary comfort while quietly stealing long-term progress. Honest self-reflection may feel uncomfortable for a moment, but it creates lasting strength because it points you toward action instead of blame. Your future deserves your best attention. Treat every day as an investment. Every useful book you read adds something valuable to your thinking. Every new skill increases your ability to solve problems. Every healthy choice gives you more energy to pursue meaningful work. These investments may not produce immediate rewards, but they continue growing long after the effort has been made. Do not confuse movement with progress. Filling every hour with activity does not guarantee improvement. Ask yourself whether today's actions moved you closer to the person you want to become. If the answer is no, then tomorrow deserves a different plan. Purpose gives direction to effort. Without direction, even hard work can produce very little. Learn to enjoy the satisfaction that comes from keeping your standards high. There is a quiet confidence that grows when you complete what you started. There is peace in knowing you gave honest effort regardless of the outcome. Nobody can take away that feeling because it is earned through your own decisions. Your daily conversations also deserve attention. Speak about possibilities instead of constantly repeating problems. Speak about learning instead of complaining. Speak with respect even during disagreement. Your words influence your mindset. A person who consistently speaks with purpose gradually develops greater control over emotions and choices. Choose friends who encourage growth through their own example. Spend time with people who respect commitment. Notice how they manage their time. Notice how they respond to setbacks. Positive influence does not remove challenges, but it reminds you that improvement is always possible through consistent action. Do not fear higher expectations. They are not a burden. They are a sign that you believe your life can become better. Every meaningful achievement once felt difficult. Every capable person once struggled with uncertainty. Progress belongs to those who continue despite that uncertainty. There will be mornings when motivation feels distant. Those mornings are important because they reveal whether your standards depend on feelings or on commitment. Feelings change from day to day. Commitment remains steady because it is built on values rather than emotion. Continue your work even when excitement is absent. That is where lasting character is developed. Pays attention to the small details that many people ignore. Arrive on time. Finish what you begin. Listen carefully before responding. Prepare before important meetings. Show respect through your actions. These habits may appear ordinary, but together they create an excellent reputation. People remember those who consistently demonstrate reliability. Never allow yesterday's mistakes to become today's identity. Learn from them and continue moving forward. Regret has value only when it teaches a lesson that improves future decisions. Carry wisdom from the past without carrying unnecessary guilt. Growth requires honesty, but it also requires hope. Every evening ask yourself a few simple questions. Did I improve today? Did I honor my responsibilities? Did I use my time wisely? Did I become a little stronger in character? These questions create awareness. Awareness creates better choices. Better choices gradually create a different life. The world does not need another person who accepts average without question. It needs people who choose integrity when shortcuts are available. It needs people who continue learning after formal education has ended. It needs people who remain dependable during difficult seasons. It needs people who become examples through consistent behavior. Instead of impressive speeches, make today's decision clear and firm. Refuse to accept less from yourself than you know you can give, not because perfection is possible, but because steady improvement is always possible. Your abilities can expand, your mindset can mature, your discipline can grow stronger. Every meaningful change begins when you decide that average is no longer enough for the future you are determined to build. Chapter 3. Change your daily choices before changing your future. The future is often treated like a distant place that suddenly appears one day. In reality, it is being built by the decisions you make before this day comes to an end. Every choice carries a direction. Some choices move you closer to the person you want to become. Others quietly pull you away from that goal without making any noise. The challenge is not that people fail to dream. The challenge is that many people expect tomorrow to be different while protecting the same habits that created yesterday. If you want your life to look different next year, then your schedule cannot look exactly the same every day. A different future begins with different actions. It begins with what you decide to do during the first hour of the morning. It continues with how you respond to pressure. It grows through the way you spend your free time. It becomes stronger through the standards you follow even when nobody is watching. Many people search for one big moment that will completely transform their lives. They believe everything will change after getting a better job, finding the right opportunity, or meeting the right person. Those moments can certainly help. Yet lasting progress depends on what happens long before those opportunities arrive. Your daily routine prepares you for the future you hope to reach. Take a close look at an ordinary day. Notice where your attention goes. Notice how often you delay important work because something easier appears. Notice how many times you promise yourself that you will begin tomorrow. Those moments seem small while they are happening. Over weeks and months, they become the story of your life. A powerful life is built through intentional decisions. Choose to wake up with purpose instead of drifting into the day. Choose to finish one meaningful task before filling your time with less important activities. Choose to protect your energy from unnecessary arguments. Choose to learn something valuable instead of spending every spare moment looking for entertainment. These choices are available long before success becomes visible. There is a difference between wishing for improvement and preparing for improvement. Wishing requires very little. Preparation asks for action. Preparation asks you to become more organized. It asks you to become more dependable. It asks you to practice skills before they are urgently needed. People who prepare consistently often appear fortunate to others. What looks like luck is frequently the result of quiet effort repeated over a long period. Do not underestimate the influence of one decision. Reading 10 pages each day may not seem remarkable. Saving a small amount of money each week may appear insignificant. Spending 30 minutes improving a useful skill may not attract anyone's attention. Yet these decisions gain strength because they continue. Their value comes from consistency rather than excitement. Your calendar reveals your priorities more honestly than your intentions. It shows where your hours are invested. It shows whether your biggest goals receive your best attention or only your leftover time. If something truly matters, then it deserves a place in your daily schedule instead of remaining only a hope for the future. One of the greatest mistakes is believing that comfort always protects you. Comfort often delays growth. It encourages you to postpone difficult conversations. It encourages you to avoid learning unfamiliar skills. It encourages you to stay where everything feels predictable. Growth usually begins when you willingly accept temporary discomfort because you understand it creates long-term improvement. Pay attention to the decisions you make when nobody expects anything from you. Those moments shape your character. It is easy to perform well when someone is watching. Real integrity is shown when your private actions match the values you proudly speak about in public. Character grows quietly before it becomes visible to anyone else. Every morning gives you an opportunity to begin again. Yesterday may have included mistakes. It may have included wasted hours or poor judgment. Those experiences do not have to control today's direction. Learn from them. Adjust your approach. Continue moving with greater wisdom. A setback becomes valuable when it teaches you how to make better decisions next time. Stop waiting until you feel completely ready. Readiness often grows after action begins. Confidence becomes stronger through experience. Skill improves through repetition. Discipline becomes more natural when practiced regularly. Progress belongs to those who begin before every doubt has disappeared. Protect your attention because it is one of your greatest resources. Every distraction asks for a piece of your future. Every unnecessary interruption delays meaningful work. Create moments of complete focus. Put away anything that steals your concentration while you are building something important. A focused hour can accomplish more than an entire day filled with constant interruptions. Think carefully about the people who influence your thinking. The conversations you have each week affect your expectations. Spend time with individuals who encourage responsibility. Notice how they solve problems instead of avoiding them. Observe how they respond with patience when facing challenges. Positive influence reminds you that higher standards are possible. There will be days when your effort produces very little visible reward. Continue anyway. Not every meaningful result appears immediately. Some of the most valuable changes happen beneath the surface. Your patience becomes stronger. Your judgment becomes wiser. Your ability to stay committed becomes more dependable. These qualities prepare you for opportunities that require maturity rather than talent alone. Develop the habit of making decisions based on your long-term values instead of your short-term feelings. Feelings are important, but they change throughout the day. Values provide stability. When your choices are guided by honesty, responsibility, and commitment, you create a life that remains steady even during difficult seasons. Every evening gives you a chance to review your progress with honesty. Ask yourself whether your actions reflected the person you are trying to become. Celebrate genuine improvement, regardless of how small it appears. Identify one decision that could be handled better tomorrow. This simple practice keeps your attention on continuous growth instead of temporary perfection. Do not expect someone else to rescue your future. No speech can replace your effort. No book can complete your work. Advice becomes valuable only after it is put into practice. The responsibility for your next decision belongs entirely to you. That truth is demanding, but it is also freeing, because it means your direction is not controlled by your past. Imagine looking back 1 year from now. Picture yourself remembering this season of your life. The greatest satisfaction will not come from easy days. It will come from knowing that you chose growth when staying the same would have been simpler. You will remember the mornings when you acted with purpose. You will remember the evenings when you completed work instead of making excuses. You will remember the quiet moments when you honored your commitments despite feeling tired. A remarkable future is never separated from today's decisions. Every worthwhile achievement begins with ordinary choices made repeatedly and sincerely. Change the quality of your daily decisions, and you gradually change the quality of your thinking. Change the quality of your thinking, and your actions begin to reflect greater purpose. Continue making those choices with patience and determination until the life you once imagined becomes the life you are actually living. Chapter 4. Refuse every excuse that keeps pulling you back. There is a quiet conversation that happens inside every person. It often takes place when nobody else is around. It begins the moment you think about doing something difficult. A goal comes into your mind, a responsibility appears in front of you, a chance to improve presents itself. Then another voice immediately offers a reason to wait. It sounds reasonable, it sounds harmless. It promises that tomorrow will be a better time to begin. Day after day that conversation repeats until weeks become months and months become years. Excuses rarely arrive looking like obstacles. They often appear as comfort. They tell you that today has been too stressful. They suggest that missing one opportunity will not matter. They convince you that someone else had an easier path. Before long, those thoughts become familiar. Familiar thoughts shape familiar actions, and familiar actions create familiar results. If your goal is to become someone your past would barely recognize, excuses cannot remain part of your daily thinking. They will always protect your comfort before they protect your future. They ask for nothing today, while quietly taking away what could have been possible tomorrow. Every person faces difficulties. Some carry financial pressure. Others deal with disappointment, rejection, uncertainty, or fear. Those challenges are real. Ignoring them serves no purpose. The important question is not whether life is difficult. The important question is whether difficulty will become the reason you stop moving forward. Many successful people have experienced seasons when nothing seemed to work. Their plans failed. Their confidence was tested. Their progress slowed down. The difference was not that they escaped hardship. The difference was that they refused to allow hardship to become permission to quit. They adjusted their plans, learned new skills, accepted temporary setbacks, and continued building their lives one decision at a time. Listen carefully to the words you repeat most often. If you frequently say that you are too busy, ask yourself how your hours are actually being used. If you often believe you are too tired, examine the habits that leave you without energy. If you think you never have enough time, look honestly at the activities filling your day. Honest questions create honest answers, and honest answers make improvement possible. Responsibility is powerful because it returns control to your hands. The moment you stop blaming everything outside yourself, you discover how much influence you truly have. You may not control every event, but you always control your response. That response becomes the foundation of your character. There will always be someone with a better starting point. There will always be someone with more resources, more experience, or more connections. Spending your attention on those comparisons changes nothing. The energy used to compare could have been invested in learning, practicing, creating, or improving. Progress grows when your attention stays focused on your own actions instead of someone else's advantages. Excuses become weaker when your purpose becomes stronger. A clear reason gives strength during difficult moments. When you understand why your goals matter, temporary discomfort becomes easier to accept. A parent may work late to provide a better future for their family. A student may study after everyone else has gone to sleep because education opens new opportunities. An entrepreneur may continue after repeated setbacks because they believe in the value they can create. Purpose provides direction when emotions become uncertain. Think about the promises you make to yourself. Each promise deserves respect. If you decide to wake up earlier, honor that decision. If you commit to finishing an important project, stay with it until it is complete. Keeping your own word builds trust within yourself. That trust cannot be purchased. It is earned through consistent action. There are moments when quitting feels easier than continuing. Those moments do not define your future unless you allow them to. Pause long enough to remember why you started. Remember the person you are trying to become. Remember the life you hope to build. Then take the next step instead of searching for the perfect solution. Forward movement is often created by simple actions repeated with determination. Pay attention to the language you use when speaking about your goals. Replace statements that sound powerless with statements that encourage responsibility. Instead of saying you cannot find time, decide where your time will go. Instead of saying you hope things improve, ask what action you can take today. This shift in thinking changes the way you approach every challenge. One unfinished task has a way of creating another. Delaying important work often increases stress instead of reducing it. Completing responsibilities brings clarity. It creates space for new ideas. It reminds you that action is more effective than endless worry. Every completed commitment strengthens your ability to handle greater responsibilities in the future. Some excuses come from fear rather than laziness. Fear of failure keeps people from trying. Fear of criticism keeps people from sharing their ideas. Fear of making mistakes keeps people from learning new skills. The answer is not waiting until fear disappears. The answer is choosing to act with courage despite feeling uncertain. Courage grows through use. Every time you move forward, it becomes easier to take the next step. Discipline is built through ordinary moments. It appears when you decide to finish your work before seeking entertainment. It appears when you prepare instead of rushing. It appears when you choose honesty, even if it costs you something. These moments may never receive applause, yet they quietly shape the kind of person you become. Notice how different your days feel after completing meaningful work. There is satisfaction in knowing your effort produced something valuable. That feeling is deeper than temporary pleasure because it is connected to purpose. It reminds you that your time has value and that your choices matter. Avoid creating stories that limit your potential. Your past may explain where you started, but it does not have to decide where you finish. Every new day offers another opportunity to write a better chapter. Growth belongs to people who believe they can continue learning regardless of age, background, or previous mistakes. Build the habit of asking better questions whenever challenges appear. Instead of asking why life is unfair, ask what lesson can be learned. Instead of asking why success takes so long, ask what skill deserves more attention. Better questions encourage better thinking, and better thinking leads to wiser decisions. Keep your focus on steady improvement rather than instant results. Every worthwhile achievement requires patience. There will be days when progress feels slow. Continue anyway. There will be moments when nobody notices your effort. Continue anyway. There will be times when your confidence is tested. Continue anyway. Consistency has a way of producing results that sudden bursts of effort never achieve. Imagine the person you want to become 5 years from now. That future version of yourself is shaped by the decisions made during ordinary mornings, quiet evenings, difficult conversations, and demanding situations. Every excuse you reject becomes another step toward that future. Every responsibility you accept makes you stronger. Every promise you keep builds greater confidence. Refuse to allow temporary comfort to decide the direction of your life. Stand firmly behind your commitments. Keep moving with determination even when the path feels challenging. The excuses that once controlled your thinking lose their influence the moment you decide that your future deserves more than another reason to stand still. Chapter 5. Train your mind to do difficult things first. The first decision you make each morning often shapes the rest of your day. It is not the size of the task that matters most. It is the order in which you choose to face your responsibilities. When you place the hardest work at the beginning instead of pushing it aside, something important begins to change inside you. You stop allowing comfort to decide your schedule. You begin leading your day instead of reacting to it. Most people do not struggle because they lack ability. They struggle because they keep delaying the work that would create real progress. They answer easy messages before working on meaningful projects. They organize small details while ignoring major responsibilities. They spend valuable energy on things that make them feel productive without actually moving their lives forward. At the end of the day, they feel exhausted. Yet the task that mattered most remains unfinished. Every difficult responsibility carries an opportunity. It gives you a chance to strengthen your character. It teaches patience when results are slow. It teaches focus when distractions appear. It teaches commitment when your emotions encourage you to stop. These lessons cannot be learned by choosing only what feels comfortable. Your mind follows the habits you build. If you repeatedly avoid difficult work, your mind begins to expect avoidance. If you repeatedly face important challenges without hesitation, your mind gradually accepts that action comes before comfort. This change does not happen in a single morning. It grows through repetition until courage becomes more familiar than delay. Think about a responsibility you have been avoiding. Perhaps it is a conversation that needs honesty. Perhaps it is a skill that requires practice. Perhaps it is a project that feels overwhelming because it demands your full attention. Every day you postpone it, the weight becomes heavier in your thoughts. The task itself may not grow larger, but your imagination often makes it seem more difficult than it truly is. The moment you begin, much of that pressure disappears because action replaces uncertainty. There is a special kind of confidence that comes from completing something you once believed was beyond your ability. Nobody can give you that confidence. It cannot be borrowed from another person. It is earned through experience. Every completed challenge reminds you that your limits are often smaller than you imagined. Do not wait for the perfect mood before beginning important work. Feelings change throughout the day. If your commitment depends entirely on emotion, your progress will always be inconsistent. Build the habit of acting according to your priorities instead of your temporary feelings. That habit creates stability even during difficult seasons. Many people believe discipline means living without enjoyment. The truth is very different. Discipline gives you greater freedom because it helps you complete what matters instead of carrying unfinished responsibilities from one day to the next. Finishing important work creates peace of mind. It allows you to enjoy your free time without the constant reminder that something valuable has been neglected. Your morning deserves protection. Before the world begins demanding your attention, spend time investing in yourself. Read something that expands your thinking. Review your goals. Plan your most important task. Prepare your mind for purpose instead of allowing random distractions to control your focus from the moment the day begins. One useful practice is to identify the single responsibility that would make the greatest difference if completed today. Write it down, place it where you will see it. Give it your strongest attention before moving toward less important activities. This simple approach removes confusion. Instead of wondering what deserves your energy, you already know where to begin. Difficult work often requires deep concentration. Create an environment that supports that concentration. Silence unnecessary notifications. Keep only the materials you need within reach. Respect your own attention. Every interruption asks your mind to start over. Protecting your focus is not selfish. It is a way of honoring the goals you have chosen. There will be moments when progress feels slow. A complex skill takes time to develop. A meaningful business takes time to build. A strong reputation takes time to earn. During those moments, remember that steady effort is never wasted. Every hour spent practicing, studying, creating, or improving becomes part of the foundation supporting your future achievements. Your inner dialogue also influences how you approach demanding work. If you repeatedly tell yourself that something is impossible, your effort becomes weaker before you even begin. Replace those thoughts with honest encouragement. Tell yourself that learning takes patience. Tell yourself that improvement comes through practice. Tell yourself that today's effort has value even if the final result is still far away. These thoughts encourage persistence instead of surrender. Avoid measuring every day only by dramatic accomplishments. Some days your greatest victory will simply be refusing to quit. Some days it will be choosing consistency over convenience. Those moments deserve respect because they strengthen qualities that remain valuable for the rest of your life. Observe people who consistently perform at a high level. They rarely depend on bursts of inspiration. They follow routines that support excellence. They prepare before they are required to perform. They understand that success is easier to maintain when strong habits already exist. Their reliability comes from repeated preparation rather than occasional enthusiasm. There is wisdom in beginning with what demands the most courage. Once the hardest responsibility has been completed, the remaining tasks often feel lighter. Your confidence grows because you have already faced the greatest challenge of the day. Momentum becomes your ally instead of your obstacle. Do not become discouraged by temporary mistakes. Every worthwhile pursuit includes moments of frustration. You may make errors while learning a new ability. You may need several attempts before solving a difficult problem. Those experiences are signs that you are stretching beyond your previous limits. Treat each mistake as information that helps you improve your next attempt. The quality of your future work is shaped by the standards you accept today. If you allow yourself to regularly postpone meaningful responsibilities, that pattern becomes familiar. If you choose courage before comfort, your standards rise naturally. Eventually, taking action becomes your normal response, instead of something that requires endless debate. Your family, your colleagues, and your community are benefit when you become someone who handles important responsibilities with maturity. Dependable people create trust. They become known for following through. They become the individuals others rely upon during challenging times. That reputation is built through many ordinary decisions that few people ever notice. Remember that your greatest competition is not another person. Your greatest challenge is becoming stronger than yesterday's version of yourself. Each morning offers another opportunity to respond with greater focus, greater patience, and greater determination. Every difficult task completed with honesty and full effort becomes evidence that you are growing into someone who can carry greater responsibility. The person you hope to become is shaped long before major achievements arrive. That transformation begins when you stop arranging your day around comfort and start arranging it around purpose. Face the work that demands your best. Finish what truly matters before turning toward what is merely convenient. Keep making that choice again and again until your first response to difficulty is no longer hesitation but action. That is how a disciplined mind is built. One decision at a time, one ordinary day after another. Chapter 6. Grow into someone your old friends never expected. There are moments in life when growth becomes visible, not because you announce it, but because your decisions begin to speak louder than your words. One day, people who have known you for years suddenly realize they are looking at someone different. They notice that you no longer react the same way. They notice that your priorities have changed. They notice that your habits no longer match the person they once knew. That kind of transformation does not happen overnight. It happens through hundreds of quiet decisions that nobody applauds while they are taking place. Many people believe they have to convince others that they are changing. They talk about their plans. They describe their dreams. They explain everything they hope to accomplish. Yet real change needs very little explanation. It becomes obvious through consistent behavior. When your actions improve day after day, people eventually recognize the difference, without you having to point it out. Your past does not deserve the power to define your future. The mistakes you made years ago were made by a different version of you. The fears you carried do not have to remain part of your identity forever. Every day gives you permission to become wiser than you were before. Growth begins when you stop introducing yourself through your history and start building yourself through your present choices. There may be people who still see you as the person you used to be. They remember your failures. They remember the times you gave up. They remember your old habits, because those are the experiences they shared with you. That memory belongs to them. It does not have to become your future. Your responsibility is not to protect someone else's opinion. Your responsibility is to continue becoming the person you know you are capable of becoming. Some people become uncomfortable when they see someone improving. Your discipline reminds them of promises they never kept. Your commitment reminds them of goals they abandoned. Your progress may cause them to question their own decisions. Because of that, they may tell you that you have changed. They may say you are different. In many cases, that is not criticism. It is evidence that your life is moving in a new direction. Do not misunderstand what meaningful growth looks like. Becoming stronger does not mean becoming arrogant. Becoming more successful does not mean forgetting kindness. Becoming more disciplined does not mean losing compassion. The strongest people often treat others with greater respect because they understand how difficult personal growth truly is. Pay close attention to the standards you accept. If everyone around you settles for very little, it becomes easy to believe that very little is enough. Human beings naturally adjust to their surroundings. That is why choosing your environment carefully is one of the most important decisions you will ever make. Spend time with people who value honesty, responsibility, learning, and steady improvement. Their influence will quietly shape your own thinking. Growth often requires saying no to opportunities that do not match your purpose. Not every invitation deserves your time. Not every conversation deserves your attention. Not every habit deserves another chance. Every time you choose what matters most over what simply feels enjoyable for a few moments, you strengthen your ability to lead your own life. There is great value in becoming dependable. Imagine being known as the person who always follows through. Imagine becoming someone whose word carries real weight because people have watched you honor your commitments again and again. That kind of reputation is earned through ordinary moments. It is built when you finish your responsibilities, even when nobody is checking your progress. Your confidence should never depend on receiving approval from everyone around you. Approval changes quickly. Respect built through character lasts much longer. Focus on becoming someone who keeps learning, keeps improving, and keeps acting with integrity. Those qualities remain valuable in every season of life. There will be times when people misunderstand your decisions. They may wonder why you spend evenings studying instead of wasting time. They may question why you protect your schedule so carefully. They may not understand why your goals require sacrifice. You do not need to argue with them. Your results will eventually explain what your words never could. Do not become attached to the version of yourself that feels familiar. Familiar does not always mean healthy. Familiar does not always mean productive. Sometimes the greatest obstacle is the belief that you must remain the person everyone expects. Real freedom begins when your decisions are guided by your values instead of other people's expectations. Learning should become a permanent part of your life. Read regularly, listen carefully, ask thoughtful questions, stay curious even after achieving success. A growing mind continues discovering better ways to solve problems, communicate with others, and create value. The moment you believe there is nothing left to learn, your progress begins to slow. Be willing to replace habits that no longer serve your future. The routines that helped you reach one level may not be enough to reach the next. Improvement requires regular evaluation. Ask yourself whether your current actions still support the life you want to build. If they do not, have the courage to make adjustments without making excuses. Celebrate progress quietly. You do not need to announce every achievement. There is strength in allowing your work to speak for itself. Continue showing up. Continue improving your skills. Continue developing patience, honesty, and discipline. The people who matter will notice the difference over time. One of the greatest signs of maturity is accepting responsibility without waiting for someone else to remind you. Mature people solve problems instead of avoiding them. They admit mistakes without searching for someone else to blame. They listen before reacting. They stay calm during difficult conversations. These qualities create trust, and trust opens doors that talent alone cannot open. Your future relationships will also benefit from your personal growth. When you become more dependable, people feel safe relying on you. When you become a better listener, your conversations become more meaningful. When you become emotionally steady, you handle disagreements with wisdom instead of anger. Personal development improves far more than your career. It improves the quality of every connection you build. Remember that lasting transformation is rarely dramatic from one day to the next. It is usually quiet. It appears in the decisions nobody celebrates. It appears when you choose honesty instead of convenience. It appears when you continue working after the excitement has faded. It appears when you remain faithful to your values, even during difficult moments. Years from now, someone who knew you long ago may look at your life with surprise. They may remember the person who lacked direction, doubted their abilities, or settled for far less than they were capable of achieving. They will see someone who speaks with confidence earned through experience, someone who carries responsibility with maturity, and someone who continues growing regardless of past limitations. That transformation will not be the result of one remarkable day. It will be the result of thousands of ordinary choices made with patience, consistency, and purpose. Keep making those choices. Keep becoming stronger. Keep building a life that reflects your highest standards. Allow your growth to become so genuine that the person you once were feels like a distant memory, while the person you have become continues moving forward with humility, wisdom, and unwavering commitment. Chapter 7. Challenge yourself until your limits disappear forever. Every person reaches a point where the biggest obstacle is no longer the world around them. The biggest obstacle becomes the invisible line they have accepted inside their own mind. That line quietly says, "This is as far as you can go." It tells you that your current abilities are fixed. It tells you that you have already discovered your limits. The truth is that many of those limits were never tested. They were accepted without enough evidence. Growth begins when you stop asking whether something feels difficult and start asking whether it is worth doing. Those are two completely different questions. Many worthwhile goals demand patience, discipline, and repeated effort. If you judge every opportunity by how comfortable it feels, you will walk away from experiences that could completely reshape your future. Think about the first time you tried something that mattered. Perhaps it was speaking in front of other people, learning a new skill, starting a business, applying for a better position, or returning to education after years away. The beginning probably felt uncomfortable. You questioned yourself. You wondered whether you were capable. Yet every hour you continued, your confidence grew because experience replaced uncertainty. Your mind learns from what you repeatedly ask it to do. If you constantly choose what is familiar, your thinking becomes narrow. When you regularly challenge yourself, your thinking expands. Problems that once appeared impossible slowly become manageable. Responsibilities that once seemed overwhelming begin to feel ordinary. This change does not happen because life becomes easier. It happens because you become stronger. Many people wait until they feel completely confident before taking on a greater challenge. Confidence rarely arrives first. More often it follows action. Every completed task teaches your mind an important lesson. It reminds you that progress is possible even when you begin with doubt. The next challenge still requires courage, but it no longer feels impossible because you have already proven your ability to grow. Imagine if you decided to improve one important area of your life every 3 months. During one season, you strengthen your communication. During another, you improve your health. Later, you develop financial discipline. Then you focus on leadership, patience, or learning a valuable professional skill. After several years, you would become someone with a completely different level of ability, not because of one dramatic event, but because you kept stretching beyond your previous standard. Avoid becoming satisfied too early. Satisfaction with honest effort is healthy. Satisfaction that stops improvement is dangerous. There is always another lesson to learn, another skill to develop, another weakness to strengthen. This does not mean you should constantly criticize yourself. It means you should remain curious about your own potential. One effective way to grow is by intentionally choosing responsibilities that require greater maturity. Volunteer to lead a project. Accept work that develops new abilities. Read books that challenge your current thinking. Have conversations with people who possess more experience than you. Place yourself in situations where learning becomes necessary instead of optional. There will be moments when you fail. Those moments deserve a healthy response instead of a fearful one. Failure provides information. It shows where preparation was incomplete. It reveals which skills need more attention. It exposes habits that must change. A person who studies mistakes honestly becomes wiser. A person who hides from mistakes often repeats them. Do not allow temporary disappointment to become a permanent conclusion about yourself. One unsuccessful attempt says very little about your future. What matters is your willingness to improve before trying again. Every meaningful achievement has a history of corrections, adjustments, and lessons learned through experience. Pay attention to the conversations you have with yourself during difficult moments. Some people immediately decide they are not talented enough. Others ask what they can do differently next time. That single difference changes everything. One mindset closes the door. The other searches for another path forward. Train yourself to look for solutions instead of reasons to stop. Your comfort zone becomes smaller every time you obey it without question. It becomes larger every time you step beyond it with purpose. That is why challenging yourself should become part of your normal routine rather than an occasional event. Read material that requires careful thought. Practice skills until they become natural. Meet people who inspire you to improve. Set goals that demand your best effort instead of your minimum effort. Progress also requires patience with yourself. Growth is not measured only by speed. It is measured by direction. Some lessons take longer than expected. Some improvements happen so gradually that you notice them only after looking back several months later. Continue moving forward, even when the change feels small. Small improvements repeated consistently eventually become impossible to ignore. One powerful habit is asking yourself at the end of each week a simple question. What challenged me this week? If the answer is nothing, there is a good chance you have become too comfortable. A meaningful life includes regular opportunities to learn, adapt, and improve. Seek experiences that require your full attention. They strengthen abilities that comfort can never develop. There is also wisdom in learning from people who have already achieved what you hope to accomplish. Observe how they think. Notice how they prepare. Pay attention to the questions they ask. Their success is often built upon daily practices that seem ordinary but produce extraordinary results over time. Use their example as encouragement rather than comparison. Remember that physical strength, emotional maturity, professional excellence, and personal character all improve through consistent practice. None of these qualities appear instantly. They are developed through repetition. Every honest effort adds another layer of experience. Every challenge accepted expands your capacity to handle greater responsibility. The fear of looking inexperienced prevents many people from becoming experienced. They avoid asking questions because they worry about appearing unprepared. They refuse new opportunities because they fear making mistakes. Yet every expert was once a beginner. Every capable leader once lacked experience. The difference is that they continued learning instead of protecting their pride. Build the habit of celebrating effort that reflects courage. A difficult conversation handled with honesty deserves recognition. Completing demanding work despite uncertainty deserves recognition. Returning after a setback deserves recognition. These moments shape your character long before they produce visible rewards. As your abilities grow, your perspective changes. Problems that once consumed your attention no longer control your emotions. Situations that once created fear become opportunities to demonstrate wisdom. You begin trusting your ability to learn because you have seen yourself overcome challenge after challenge. That trust becomes one of your greatest strengths. The purpose of challenging yourself is not to prove your value to other people. Your value does not depend on applause or recognition. The purpose is to discover what becomes possible when you refuse to remain where you started. Every challenge accepted with determination removes another unnecessary limit from your thinking. Every lesson learned expands your understanding of what you can achieve. Continue choosing growth over familiarity. Continue stepping toward responsibilities that demand your best. Over time, the boundaries that once seemed permanent begin to disappear, replaced by a quiet confidence built through persistence, discipline, and the repeated decision to become more capable than you were yesterday. Chapter 8. Earn the respect that only real discipline brings. There is a kind of respect that cannot be requested, purchased, or demanded. It is not created by impressive words or by trying to convince people that you are capable. It grows naturally when your actions remain steady over time. People begin to trust you because they know what to expect from you. They know you keep your promises. They know you finish what you start. They know you stay committed even when circumstances become difficult. That kind of respect is built through discipline. Many people want recognition before they have earned it. They want others to believe in them before they have learned to believe in themselves. They hope for opportunities that require responsibility while avoiding the daily habits that develop responsibility. Real respect follows preparation. It follows consistency. It follows the quiet decision to keep doing what is right even when nobody notices. Discipline is not about making your life harder than it needs to be. It is about making your future stronger than it would be otherwise. Every time you choose to honor your commitments instead of your temporary emotions, you make another investment in your character. Those investments continue paying rewards long after the moment has passed. Think about the people you admire most. They probably have different careers, different personalities, and different backgrounds. Yet they likely share one important quality. They can be counted on. Their words match their actions. They accept responsibility without searching for excuses. They earn trust because they have repeatedly shown that they deserve it. That same opportunity belongs to you. It does not depend on your age. It does not depend on your education. It does not depend on where you started. It depends on the standards you choose today. Every ordinary decision becomes another chance to prove that your character is stronger than your comfort. Discipline is often invisible before it becomes visible. Nobody sees the early mornings when you prepare while others are still asleep. Few people notice the evenings spent improving your skills after a long day. They do not witness the moments when you choose patience instead of anger or honesty instead of convenience. Yet those unseen moments eventually become visible through the quality of your life. Your reputation is shaped by repeated behavior. If people consistently experience honesty from you, they begin to trust your word. If they consistently experience reliability, they become comfortable depending on you. If they consistently see you treating others with respect, they recognize the strength of your character. These qualities cannot be created through a single impressive performance. They are built through years of consistent choices. Do not become distracted by people who seek attention more than improvement. Attention often fades quickly. Character remains valuable in every season of life. A disciplined person focuses on becoming better rather than appearing better. That difference may not attract immediate praise, but it creates lasting influence. There will be moments when doing the right thing costs you something. It may require more effort. It may require more patience. It may require saying no to opportunities that conflict with your values. Those moments reveal the strength of your discipline. Anyone can follow principles when they are convenient. Character becomes clear when principles remain firm during difficult situations. Learn to respect your own commitments before expecting others to respect them. If you decide to complete an important task, treat that decision seriously. If you promise someone your time, arrive prepared. If you begin learning a new skill, continue long enough to develop real ability. Keeping your own standards strengthens your confidence because you know your actions reflect your intentions. The quality of your work also reflects your discipline. Whether your responsibility is large or small, complete it with care. Details matter because they demonstrate respect for the task, respect for the people involved, and respect for yourself. Excellence is often found in the way ordinary responsibilities are handled. Patience is another form of discipline. Many people become discouraged because results take longer than expected. They stop just before meaningful progress begins. A disciplined person understands that worthwhile achievements often require sustained effort. Instead of becoming frustrated by slow improvement, they remain committed to the process. Their focus stays on doing today's work well rather than demanding immediate rewards. Your daily routine quietly shapes your identity. The way you begin your morning influences your attitude. The way you respond to unexpected problems influences your emotional strength. The way you spend your evenings influences your future opportunities. Every part of your day contributes to the person you are becoming. Discipline also changes the way you handle success. When good results finally arrive, you remain humble because you understand how much effort was required to reach them. You continue learning because you know growth never truly ends. You avoid becoming careless because you value the habits that created your progress in the first place. People often remember how you made them feel. They remember whether you listened with attention. They remember whether you treated them fairly. They remember whether you honored your word during difficult situations. Discipline is not limited to personal goals. It also influences the quality of your relationships. Reliable people create stronger friendships, stronger families, and stronger teams because others know they can be trusted. There will always be distractions competing for your attention. Some will appear exciting for a short time. Others will promise quick rewards without requiring much effort. Discipline gives you the wisdom to recognize the difference between temporary pleasure and lasting value. It helps you protect what matters most, even when easier options are available. One powerful habit is finishing each day with honesty. Review your actions without making excuses. Notice where you stayed true to your values. Notice where improvement is needed. This practice is not about self-criticism. It is about self-awareness. The more clearly you understand your own behavior, the more effectively you can improve it. As your discipline grows, your confidence changes. It no longer depends on compliments or recognition. It comes from knowing that you can rely on yourself. You know you will continue working when the task becomes difficult. You know you will remain steady during pressure. That quiet confidence becomes stronger than any temporary praise. The people around you also begin to notice subtle changes. They see that you respond with calm instead of panic. They see that you prepare instead of making excuses. They see that your words carry weight because your actions consistently support them. Without asking for respect, you begin earning it naturally. Remember that discipline is never about proving you are better than someone else. It is about becoming the best version of yourself. Every promise you keep, every responsibility you accept, every challenge you face with honesty adds another layer to your character. Those layers become the foundation of a life built on trust, reliability, and purpose. Years from now, the greatest reward will not simply be the goals you achieved. It will be the person you became while pursuing them. You will know that your success was not built on luck or temporary excitement. It was built on steady effort, thoughtful decisions, and unwavering commitment. That is the respect that real discipline brings. It begins within you, grows through your daily choices, and eventually becomes visible to everyone whose life is touched by your example. Chapter 9. Prove your future by changing what you do. Your future is never built by what you promise yourself. It is built by what you repeatedly choose to do. Dreams have value because they give you direction, but direction alone cannot move your life forward. Action creates movement. Action creates experience. Action creates growth. If your actions remain unchanged, your future has very little reason to become different. That truth may sound simple, yet it is one of the hardest lessons to accept because it removes every excuse and places responsibility exactly where it belongs. Think about the life you hope to have 5 years from now. Picture the person you want to become. Imagine waking up with confidence, handling responsibilities with maturity, solving problems without panic, and becoming someone others naturally trust. That version of yourself will never appear because you wished for it. It will only appear because you slowly became that person through your daily behavior. Many people become excited when they think about success. They enjoy setting goals. They enjoy imagining better days ahead. There is nothing wrong with having hope. Hope is important. The mistake happens when hope replaces effort. A goal written on paper changes nothing unless it changes the way you spend your hours. Every meaningful dream asks a simple question. What are you willing to do differently beginning today? Your future is watching your present decisions. Every morning gives you another opportunity to prove that your goals deserve your attention. Every afternoon gives you another chance to make one more useful decision instead of postponing it. Every evening allows you to finish the day knowing you invested your time wisely instead of wondering where it disappeared. Do not become someone who constantly talks about change without living it. Words can inspire for a few moments, but actions build a completely different life. People eventually stop listening to repeated promises. They begin believing what they consistently see. More importantly, you begin believing your own actions. Every promise you keep to yourself strengthens your confidence. Every promise you ignore slowly weakens it. There is a reason many people stay in the same place for years. They continue expecting different results while protecting familiar routines. They change their goals without changing their schedule. They change their opinions without changing their habits. They become frustrated because life remains the same, even though very little about their behavior has actually changed. A different future requires different evidence. If you want better health, your daily choices around food, movement, and rest must reflect that desire. If you want greater financial stability, the way you earn, save, and spend money must begin changing. If you want stronger relationships, your patience, honesty, and willingness to listen must improve. Every area of life follows the same principle. The result follows the behavior. Never underestimate how much one good decision can influence everything that follows. Choosing to begin your day with purpose instead of confusion changes your focus. Choosing to complete an important responsibility before seeking entertainment changes your productivity. Choosing to learn instead of wasting another evening changes your knowledge. These decisions may appear ordinary, yet they quietly shape extraordinary outcomes over time. One powerful question deserves your attention every single day. If I continue living exactly like this for the next 3 years, where will I end up? Answer honestly. If the answer makes you uncomfortable, then the solution is not to become discouraged. The solution is to begin changing your actions while you still have the opportunity. Your habits are writing your future every day. They are creating a version of your life before anyone else can see it. Some habits build strength. Others slowly reduce your confidence. Some habits increase your opportunities. Others quietly close doors before you even notice they existed. Pay attention to the routines you repeat, because they are introducing you to the person you are becoming. Stop waiting for dramatic moments to prove your commitment. Great change is usually supported by ordinary days. It grows while you continue doing the right thing even when the results seem small. It grows while you stay patient through slow progress. It grows while you remain faithful to your standards during seasons when nobody is praising your effort. Responsibility becomes easier when your actions match your values. If honesty matters to you, practice honesty during difficult conversations. If excellence matters to you, produce work you are proud to sign your name to. If kindness matters to you, show respect even when someone cannot offer you anything in return. Your values should become visible through your behavior, instead of remaining hidden inside your thoughts. Your future career is influenced by the skills you develop today. The opportunities available next year are often connected to what you decide to learn this month. Every book completed, every lesson studied, every useful conversation, and every hour spent practicing adds something valuable to your ability. Knowledge grows slowly, but its influence continues expanding long after the learning takes place. There will be moments when your effort seems unnoticed. Continue anyway. The purpose of your work is not immediate recognition. The purpose is becoming more capable. Ability grows regardless of whether anyone applauds the process. Eventually, the quality of your work becomes impossible to ignore because your preparation begins showing through every result you produce. Do not measure progress only by large achievements. Sometimes your greatest victory is making a wiser decision than you would have made last year. Sometimes it is remaining calm during pressure. Sometimes it is refusing to return to an old habit that once controlled your life. These victories deserve respect because they represent real growth in character. Take ownership of your environment. Fill your surroundings with reminders of the person you are becoming. Keep useful books where you can reach them. Keep your workspace organized. Spend time with people who encourage responsibility instead of carelessness. Your surroundings quietly influence your daily choices more than you may realize. One day people may describe your success as sudden. They will see the result without seeing the years of preparation behind it. They will notice the confidence without seeing the moments of doubt you overcame. They will admire your discipline without witnessing the mornings when you chose responsibility over comfort. That is often how success appears from the outside. The visible result hides the invisible work. Remember that every decision sends a message to your future. It says either I am preparing for greater opportunities or I am postponing them. There is very little in between. Each day asks you to choose which message you want your life to send. As you continue growing, your standards naturally become higher. You no longer accept careless work from yourself. You no longer waste valuable hours without purpose. You begin protecting your attention because you understand how valuable it truly is. You stop chasing temporary satisfaction and begin investing in lasting progress. These changes are signs that your thinking has matured. Imagine meeting yourself 10 years from now. That future version of you will carry the results of today's choices. Imagine being able to look back with gratitude because you decided to act instead of delay, to learn instead of complain, to prepare instead of hope, and to remain committed when quitting seemed easier. That conversation with your future self begins today. The greatest proof of your future will never be found in your words. It will never be found in your intentions alone. It will always be found in your behavior. Every action becomes a vote for the life you are creating. Every useful habit strengthens the foundation beneath your dreams. Every responsible decision shapes your character. Continue making those choices with patience, honesty, and determination. Over time, your actions will tell a story so powerful that nobody will need an explanation. They will simply see the person you became and understand that your future was built one faithful decision at a time. Chapter 10. Become impossible to ignore through relentless self-improvement. There comes a moment when you stop asking whether change is possible and begin asking how far you are willing to take it. That question changes everything because it moves your attention away from hope and places it where real transformation happens. The answer is found in your willingness to improve when nobody is asking you to keep learning after reaching one goal, and to continue growing long after the excitement of a new beginning has faded. Many people believe becoming successful means reaching a destination where everything finally becomes easy. Life rarely works that way. Every new level of growth introduces new responsibilities. Every greater opportunity asks for greater maturity. Every meaningful achievement requires you to become someone capable of carrying it. This is why self-improvement is never a temporary project. It becomes a lifelong commitment. Imagine waking up every day with one simple purpose. Become a little wiser than yesterday. Become a little more patient than yesterday. Become a little more dependable than yesterday. These improvements may appear small when viewed one day at a time, yet they completely reshape a person's life over the years. Great lives are not built from one extraordinary week. They are built from ordinary days filled with intentional decisions. Your greatest competition has never been another person. Someone will always have more experience. Someone will always begin with greater advantages. Someone will always appear to move faster. Comparing yourself to them steals valuable energy that could have been invested in your own progress. Instead, ask yourself one honest question every evening. Did I become better today than I was when this day began? If the answer is yes, then you are already moving in the right direction. Self-improvement is not about becoming perfect. Perfection is not required for meaningful growth. Improvement asks for honesty. It asks you to recognize weaknesses without allowing them to define you. It asks you to celebrate progress without becoming satisfied too soon. It asks you to remain teachable even after achieving success. There is a quiet strength in becoming a person who never stops learning. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to gain understanding. Every challenge becomes a lesson that increases your wisdom. Every setback becomes information that helps you make better decisions in the future. Instead of asking why something happened to you, begin asking what it can teach you. That single change in thinking can influence every area of your life. Pay attention to the quality of your daily habits, because they quietly introduce you to your future. Your morning routine influences your mindset. The books you read influence your thinking. The people you spend time with influence your expectations. The work you complete influences your confidence. None of these choices seem dramatic by themselves, yet together they create the direction of your life. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing they have already reached their highest potential. The truth is that every skill can become stronger with practice. Communication can improve. Leadership can improve. Financial wisdom can improve. Emotional control can improve. Physical health can improve. The moment you believe growth has ended, you stop discovering what you are capable of becoming. Remain curious about your own abilities. Challenge yourself to solve problems you once avoided. Learn subjects that once seemed difficult. Develop talents you have never explored before. Every new ability increases your confidence because it reminds you that your future is not limited by your past experience. Your character becomes stronger each time your actions reflect your values. If you believe honesty matters, practice honesty even when the truth feels uncomfortable. If you value responsibility, complete your work with care instead of rushing through it. If kindness matters to you, treat people with respect even when they cannot offer you anything in return. These choices shape a life that others naturally admire because it is built on consistency rather than appearance. Do not seek attention, seek excellence. Attention often comes and goes depending on circumstances. Excellence remains valuable wherever you go. A person who consistently produces quality work, keeps promises, solves problems, and continues learning becomes difficult to overlook. Not because they demand recognition, but because their value becomes impossible to ignore. Many people spend years trying to appear successful. Spend your years becoming useful instead. Learn how to help others solve problems. Learn how to encourage people without expecting anything in return. Learn how to remain calm during pressure. Learn how to communicate clearly. These qualities create opportunities because every community, every workplace, and every family benefits from people who make life better for those around them. Never allow success to become an excuse for stopping your growth. Some people improve until they reach a comfortable position, then slowly lose the habits that help them get there. Continue reading, continue practicing, continue listening, continue asking thoughtful questions. The strongest people remain students throughout their lives because they understand there is always another lesson waiting to be learned. Take pride in becoming someone others can rely on during difficult moments. When problems appear, become the person who searches for solutions instead of spreading panic. When responsibilities increase, become the person who remains organized. When someone needs encouragement, become the person who offers hope through both words and actions. Reliability creates influence that cannot be manufactured. There will be seasons when your progress feels invisible. Continue anyway. Seeds of improvement often grow beneath the surface before anyone notices them. Your thinking becomes clearer, your judgment becomes wiser, your emotional control becomes steadier. These internal changes eventually appear in your relationships, your work, and your opportunities. The outside world begins seeing what has been quietly developing within you. Protect your standards as your life improves. Greater success should never reduce your humility. Greater knowledge should never reduce your willingness to listen. Greater confidence should never reduce your kindness. The strongest individuals combine excellence with respect because they understand that character gives lasting meaning to achievement. Remember that your influence extends further than you realize. Someone is always learning from the way you handle challenges. Someone notices how you respond to disappointment. Someone observes whether you remain honest under pressure. Your example may encourage another person to believe that growth is possible for them as well. That is one of the greatest gifts you can offer the world. Picture yourself many years from now, looking back on this season of your life. Imagine remembering the moment you decided to stop settling for less than your best effort. Imagine seeing how one decision led to another, how one useful habit replaced an old one, and how those small changes slowly transformed every important part of your life. You would not remember one dramatic day that changed everything. You would remember the steady commitment that carried you forward through ordinary days. The goal is not to become someone famous. The goal is not to collect praise from strangers. The goal is to become someone whose life reflects honesty, discipline, wisdom, compassion, and responsibility. Those qualities create a legacy that lasts much longer than temporary recognition. As this journey continues, keep reminding yourself that improvement is not something you complete. It is something you live. Every sunrise offers another opportunity to strengthen your mind. Every conversation offers another opportunity to strengthen your character. Every responsibility offers another opportunity to strengthen your discipline. Continue accepting those opportunities with gratitude and determination. One day people will notice something different about you. They will see greater confidence in the way you speak. They will recognize calmness in the way you handle pressure. They will admire the quality of your work and the consistency of your actions. Some will wonder what changed. The answer will be simple. You refuse to stop improving. You kept learning when others became comfortable. You kept growing when others settled. You kept choosing purpose over convenience, progress over excuses, and character over appearances. That relentless commitment did not simply change your results, it changed the person you became. Once that transformation takes place, your presence speaks before your words ever need to. Your life becomes the evidence that steady self-improvement can turn ordinary potential into extraordinary character, and that is something the world can never ignore. You have reached the end of this journey, but this is not the end of your change. What you heard in this audiobook only matters if it starts showing up in your daily actions. Nothing shifts in your life by understanding alone. Everything shifts when you begin to act differently, even in small ways, even when no one is watching. Look at your current habits and be honest with yourself. Are they building the person you want to become, or are they keeping you in the same place? The answer will not change your life. Your next decision will. From this moment, you have two paths. One leads back to comfort and repetition. The other leads to a version of you that feels unfamiliar in the best way possible. A version shaped by discipline, patience, and steady improvement. Do not treat this as something you only listened to. Treat it as something you now apply. Even one change today can start a different direction for your future. And remember, transformation is not a single event. It is a process you return to every day. If this message reached you at the right time, come back to this video whenever you feel yourself slipping into old patterns. Use it as a reminder that you already know what needs to change. Stay with this journey. The next chapter of your life depends on it.